Hey class, Mr. Mohiddin here with a quick video on how you can identify which congruence criteria is shown in a particular picture and then use the structure of the shape to name and complete a congruent statement. So here we're given two triangles and limited information. We're given that angle B and D match, and we're given that AC and EC match, and that's it. Those are the red markings. We have to figure out if this is enough, and if so, which of the criteria that always work are we looking at. So just as a quick review, the four rules at work are these right here. These are on your foldable. And we have to figure out which of these, if any, are shown. So let's try and see what's given and what we can determine. So right off the bat, we're given two pairs of sides, or one pair of sides and one pair of angles, and there's no rule that just says AS. So we have to figure out something else. And it's always good to look for in pictures like this, or any of these geometry problems, frankly, vertical angles. So these two angles at angle C, frankly, DCE and angle BCA are the same. And we know that's true because they're both vertical angles. So we know that those two are the same, the two blue ones. So we have a pair of angles, the blue ones. We have a pair of angles, the red ones. And we also have a pair of sides, which are the double tick mark. So two angles and a side. And there are two options that have that. We have angle side, and we have angle side angle. The question is, which one are we looking at? Well, notice that between the angles, in other words, this segment right here, there's no marking. And likewise, between these two angles, there's no marking. So we have two angles, and then the side that's marked is not in between, so that is a textbook case of angle side. So that's the rule we can use in this particular scenario. Two angles and a side not included. So the next step is to name the congruent statement that matches with the given name. So I've went ahead and named the first shape for you. It's ACB. So that starts over here and then goes to C and then heads over to B, ACB. So A, you'll notice, needs to match with E. So A is in the first lot, so E is there. Then we travel across the double tick mark line to C. There's only one letter left, so ECD. So angle side, that may not have been visible in the color I chose, angle side, and ECD there. So next is another example. I'd like you to draw it. Perhaps if you're watching, pause the video and see if you can come up with, first of all, which criteria, if any, and then complete the congruent statement if they are for sure congruent. So hopefully you paused it and taken a look. We're once again given a pair of sides and a pair of angles, and that's it. In the last problem, we had a pair of vertical angles. In this case, we don't, because we don't have them intersecting in the same way. We do, however, have this shared side. We don't know how long it is. There's no marking on it, but we know that both shapes share that blue length. It's the same length for the top triangle, SPR, as it is for the bottom triangle, whatever its name is. So we've got to figure out, or we know then that it's the same in both triangles, so it's going to be the same as itself. And we call that in proofs the reflexive property. So if I'm going to draw these two shapes separated, imagine if I cut along that line and drew them separate, you'd have something like this. So there's our 90, we have that mark and this mark, and the bottom shape we have something like this. So in both shapes we have, and then these sides right here are the ones that are the same, the blue one, as themselves. So if you notice, we have a side with a single tick mark given, an angle, which is the 90 that was already there, and we have another side, and the same thing is true in this case. So this is another textbook scenario of side, angle, side. Since that's enough information, that's a criteria that works, we know that these triangles therefore must be congruent. All we have to do now is to name them properly. So the first one is already called SPR. So S to P to R. Well, you notice S is the same as Q, so I'm going to put Q in the first slot. And then when I travel over to P, well, P is the same as R, so Q to R over to P. So SPR matches with QRP. Hope this helps.